All right, picture this, my friend. What if the only thing keeping you from your biggest dreams isn't some magic formula, crazy luck, or being in the right place at the right time? It's not about being the smartest or the most gifted. It's just about sticking to something when everyone else would have quit. I know you're loaded with potential, but like most of us, maybe you just haven't fully tapped into the real game changer yet. Consistency.
But the competitor whose objective is to continue to play can't be beaten because by playing he wins.
It's not flashy. It's not the stuff that gets you all hyped up like those big wins everyone chases. But honestly, success, whether it's in business, fitness, or just leveling up your life, comes down to showing up and doing the work when no one else will. Even when it's boring, even when you're tired, it's about grinding through the stuff that feels repetitive. But trust me, that's where the magic happens.
It's rarely the information or the intensity that makes things hard. It's the sticking with it that makes it hard.
So if you're tired of spinning your wheels or watching others race past you, stay with me until the end of this video. I'm going to show you exactly why consistency is the real game changer and how you can actually become more consistent in your life with some simple yet powerful steps. Believe me, once it clicks, it's going to change everything for you. You've probably heard this before. Success is not about luck, it's about consistent effort. Listen, my friend, I know motivation is exciting, it fires you up, gets you moving, but here's the cold truth. Motivation fades, and it does fade quickly, but you can outsmart that with consistency. It's not glamorous, it's not thrilling, but it means you're showing up every single day whether you feel like it or not. This is actually what makes all the difference. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Success isn't built in one big leap. It's the result of steady, relentless progress. Listen, brother, I'm sure you have never ever seen someone getting jacked after just one single workout, or someone building a multi-million-dollar business after just one day of work. You need to know that success is like a plant that grows over time. You have to water it, give it sunlight, and foremost, be patient. And the same goes for your goals. Every small, consistent action, whether it's going to the gym, working on your side hustle, or practicing a skill, adds up over time. It's the drip, drip, drip that eventually fills the bucket. Remember the famous sculptor analogy? Each swing of the hammer may seem insignificant on its own, but after hundreds or thousands of blows, you've shaped something incredible. Take this to heart, brother. Showing up every day isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every little effort, however small it may seem, adds up. Imagine if you improve by just 1% every day. By the end of the year, you'd be 37 times better at whatever it is you're working on.
It's just kind of basic math. Like if you just look at the numbers, if you were able to improve by 1% each day for an entire year, and those gains compound, you would end up 37 times better at the end of the year.
That's the compound effect. It's why the greatest success stories don't start with one giant leap. They begin with small, consistent steps forward. Listen, my friend, I'm going to tell you something you might have heard about before, but this is super important to understand because it contains so much truth. It's the 10,000 hour rule. It's the idea that mastery of any skill comes after 10,000 hours of practice. Whether the number is accurate or not is irrelevant at this point. The message is clear. You can't expect to become an expert without putting in the time. Think of the greatest athletes, musicians, or even entrepreneurs. Do you think they got there by slacking off after a few days of practice? Definitely not. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. The more you practice, the better you get. It's that simple. And it's why so many people fail. They give up long before they've put in the time to see any real progress. Let me tell you another truth that I learned in the recent years, and most people don't talk about. Consistency isn't just about achieving external success. It's about proving to yourself that you can stick to something each time you follow through on a commitment. You send a message to your brain, I can do this, I am capable. And let me tell you, that feeling is worth its weight in gold. I know many of my old friends quitted way before they even really started. You chip away at your self-trust. Doubt creeps in. You start second-guessing yourself the next time you set a goal because deep down you don't believe you'll stick with it. Consistency, even when it feels hard, builds unshakable confidence. Each time you complete a task you promised yourself you'd do, no matter how small, you build self-respect and self-belief. And that belief is the foundation of greatness. Trust me, showing up even when no one is watching is the real secret to becoming the best version of yourself. If consistency is so important, why do most people throw in the towel before they get anywhere? The answer is simple, because they are impatient. We live in a world of instant gratification. Netflix, TikTok, social media likes, and even ordering on Amazon brings you same-day delivery, and we expect the same speed for everything in life. Trust me, success does not work like that. We do expect immediate results with all we do, and when it doesn't happen, it's just so easy to give up and seek pleasure elsewhere. It is exactly this lack of consistency that ties directly into why so many of us fail to reach our goals. We all want to see results right away, but here's the reality. 20% of new businesses fail in the first year, and 50% don't make it to 5. Same goes for New Year's resolutions. Most people quit by February. Why? Because it's hard to keep pushing when it feels like nothing's changing. And that's where so many people lose the game, whether it's building a business, getting in shape, or just sticking to a new habit. Real progress takes time. It's about showing up, especially when it feels slow and frustrating. Success? It's reserved for the ones who can keep going, even when it seems like nothing's happening. That's the trap we all fall into. We expect results now, but anything worth having takes time. If you can push past that desire for immediate gratification and stay consistent, the results will come. It's inevitable. In today's digital age, where everything is just a click away, we've lost our patience. If something doesn't happen fast, we assume it won't happen at all. But consistency teaches us patience and shows us that the most rewarding achievements in life are those that come after we've invested time and effort. So ditch the expectation of instant results and embrace the process. Here's another reason why people give up too soon: fear of failure. When things don't go perfectly, when you mess up or don't see results right away, it's easy to think you're failing. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Every setback, every mistake, every time you stumble, you're learning, you're growing, you're getting closer to where you want to be. In fact, resilience, the ability to keep going even when things suck, is one of the most powerful traits you can develop. So the next time you think about quitting, ask yourself, am I quitting because I'm failing, or am I quitting because I'm afraid to fail? There's this common misconception that failure is a bad thing, but let me tell you something. It's the best teacher you'll ever have. Failing means you're trying. Failing means you're learning what doesn't work so you can refine what does. The problem is most people fear failure so much that they never allow themselves to get to the point where success is inevitable. The only real failure is quitting. I noticed another reason why people give up too soon. Very often they lack clear, actionable goals. When you don't have a specific destination in mind, it's easy to lose motivation. Imagine trying to build a puzzle without knowing what the final image is supposed to look like. Frustrating, right? The same thing happens when people start on a new project, habit, or journey without clearly defining what success looks like. Without a roadmap, every minor setback feels like a dead end. But when you set clear goals, you create a sense of direction. You know where you're headed, and more importantly, why you're doing it. This keeps you grounded during the tough times and helps you push through moments of doubt. The key is breaking down big, overwhelming goals into smaller, manageable steps. When you see small wins along the way, it boosts your motivation and makes the bigger picture feel achievable. People often quit too soon because they compare their progress to others. Social media has us constantly seeing the highlight reels of other people's lives, their successes, their milestones, their achievements. But what we don't see is the grind behind the scenes, the years of effort, or the struggles they faced along the way. This skewed perspective makes us feel like we're falling behind, even when we're making great progress on our own journey. It's easy to get discouraged when someone else seems to be ahead, but remember, everyone's timeline is different. Just because you're not seeing the same results as someone else doesn't mean you're failing. The only comparison that matters is the one with yourself. Are you further along than you were yesterday? Focus on your own growth. Stay consistent, and trust that your efforts will pay off in time. Now, let's get into the real magic of consistency, how it compounds over time. Consistency is like compound interest. The longer you stick with something, the more your efforts multiply. When I was younger, I loved playing in the snow during wintertime. I used to build snowmen that were bigger than myself at the time. Doing so, I was pushing huge snowballs down the hill. At first, it's small, slow-moving, and requires a lot of effort to get it going. But as it rolls, it picks up speed and grows larger. At the beginning, it feels like you're not making much progress. But as you keep going, your results start to compound. Every small effort builds on the one before it, and eventually you look back and realize just how far you've come. You may have heard of the compound effect in the world of finance. It's the idea that small, consistent investments grow exponentially over time. And the same concept applies to your efforts. Your first few days, weeks, or even months might feel slow and unrewarding. But over time, those consistent efforts build on one another. Before you know it, you've made progress that you never thought possible. Here's the thing about consistency. It helps you push through the inevitable plateaus. I remember a time when I was working out regularly, giving it my all, but suddenly nothing seemed to change. It felt like no matter how hard I tried, I was stuck. It was frustrating, and I was tempted to quit. But then I realized something. Plateaus aren't a sign of failure. They're a sign that your body or mind is adapting and preparing for the next level. It's like when you're hiking up a steep hill and you hit a flat spot. You're still going up, just slower. You need to keep going because that's when the real growth happens. And sure enough, after pushing through, I started seeing progress again. That's when I understood that plateaus are part of the process. The key to breaking through a plateau: keep showing up. Keep doing the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening, because eventually you will break through, and that's where the real growth happens. Consistency teaches us persistence, and persistence is the antidote to stagnation. When you eventually will hit a plateau, I'm sure it will be super tempting to just quit and give up. But trust me, those who push through are the ones who eventually reach the top. Plateaus are temporary, but the rewards of staying the course are permanent. Momentum is your best friend when it comes to staying consistent. The more you show up, the easier it gets to keep going. It's like working out. At first, it's hard, and you feel like you're dragging yourself to the gym. But after a few weeks, it becomes part of your routine. You start to enjoy it. You build momentum. And that momentum makes it easier to keep going, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Momentum is the byproduct of consistency. It's that force that takes over when showing up becomes easier because you've done it so many times before. It's why athletes and performers practice until it becomes second nature. When momentum takes over, what once felt difficult starts to feel effortless. Another powerful result of consistency is that it transforms discipline into habit. At first, staying consistent with something, whether it's exercising, learning a new skill, or working on a personal project, requires a lot of willpower. You have to consciously make the decision to do it every day, but over time, what starts as an effortful practice becomes automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. It's not something you have to think about anymore. It's just part of your daily routine. That's what happens when you're consistent. The more you show up, the less you rely on discipline, and the more your actions become ingrained habits. Habits are powerful because they don't require motivation. They happen almost effortlessly. Once you reach that point, consistency becomes second nature, and success becomes a matter of time. Consistency isn't just about staying the course. It's about recognizing and celebrating the small wins along the way. Every time you stick to a habit or complete a task, no matter how small, you're building a track record of success. And those small wins add up. The beauty of small wins is that they boost your confidence and motivation, making it easier to stay consistent. Each small achievement gives you proof that you're making progress, even if the overall goal still feels far away. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more you succeed, the more motivated you are to keep going, and the more progress you make. Over time, these small victories compound into something much bigger, leading to the massive breakthroughs you're aiming for. I know it's hard, and honestly, I get it. Everywhere you look on TikTok and Instagram, there are these gurus going on about how consistency is the key. I'll admit, I was kind of suspicious at first, like, really? But after trying it out myself, I realized they might be onto something. Let me share a few things that helped me stick with it, even when I felt like throwing in the towel. Don't try to overhaul your life in one day. You'll burn out fast. Instead, start with something small. Want to build a workout routine? Start with just 10 minutes a day. Want to build a new habit? Commit to doing it for just 5 minutes. The key is to make the action so small and manageable that you have no excuse not to do it. Take me, for example. I decided to start learning 5 new Spanish words every morning right after waking up. At first, it took a little push to stick to it, but after a short while, it turned into a no-brainer. Now it's just part of my routine, and I don't even have to think about it. Have you ever experienced something like that? Maybe you've tried building a habit that you knew could make a difference, but struggled to stick with it. Or maybe there's one small thing you want to add to your day to stay more consistent. Drop your story below. I'd love to hear how it's been for you. I saw so many people in the past making huge mistakes, like obsessing over the end goal. They focus so much on the outcome, whether it's losing weight, making money, or mastering a skill, that they get frustrated when they don't see results right away. Instead, focus on the process. Focus on showing up every day and doing the work. If you stay consistent with the process, the results will take care of themselves. It's easy to bail on yourself, but it's much harder to bail on someone else. That's why accountability is so important. Find a friend, coach, or mentor who will hold you accountable to your goals. Or create a system of accountability for yourself. Write down your daily actions, track your progress, and celebrate your wins. The more you hold yourself accountable, the more likely you are to stay consistent. Here's the truth. You're going to mess up. You're going to have days when you don't feel like showing up, when you fall off track, or when things don't go as planned. And that's okay. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about what you do after you mess up. Do you give up or do you get back on track? The people who succeed are the ones who get back up and keep going even after they fall. If you want to stand out in a world full of quitters, consistency is your golden ticket. There are no shortcuts, no quick wins. The real power lies in showing up day after day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Always remember,
Tim Ferriss says, in the short term, your success depends on your intensity. In the long term, your success depends on your consistency.
keep playing the game. Stay consistent, my friend. And without a doubt, success will come knocking. I've put together a detailed guide to help you tap into something deeper, something that can transform your life in ways you never imagined. It's not about talent or luck, but a quiet, powerful force that drives real change over time. We're on this journey together, working side by side. This force will keep you moving forward, even when things get tough. Stick with it, and the results will speak for themselves. Trust me, you've got everything it takes. Let's keep pushing and stay consistent.